and welcome to something slightly different from what I normally do. I get a lot of questions on each of my factions episode which ask me how I managed to find so many unclaimed bases. And the truth is that most of the bases that Joe and I actually raid are bought or donated to us from other players. But today I'm going to give you a few helpful tips here and there which will hopefully increase your chances of managing to find unclaimed bases. So the first thing that I would suggest is going to the world border. So we're going to do /home border because I've already got a home set there. So here we are. Because for some reason a lot of people like to build their bases around the world border because they think that people won't travel that far out. Like I can see, I just walked to the border and then I found this big raided base right here. And then the second thing that you want to do is press the F3 button on your computer, because the first method we're going to be looking at is the entity method, which is the most popular. As you can see, this is the world border right here, so I can't go over there. So I'm also going to drink a swiftness potion because we're going to be doing a hell of a lot of running around, so we want to be able to run around as quickly as possible. And the thing that you want to look at on the F3 menu is the fourth line down where it says E, because that stands for entity, because this is the entity method. So right next to the E you can see it says 0/1. That means that there is one entity in this chunk and I am looking at none of them. That one entity is myself. So if I was to throw this stake on the ground, then you'd see that there are now two entities in this chunk and I'm looking at one of them. If I were to chuck this swiftness potion, there would now be three entities in this chunk and I would be looking at two of them. So basically all we need to do in this technique is just run around all over the map and just keep an eye on that entities, because if the entity goes up to something higher than 15, then that suggests there's probably a base underground, because entities could be things like item frames which are on chests, that kind of thing. Another sneaky technique is when you come across sheep in the world, have a look for things like this, because this means that the sheep has been eating recently, which suggests that this is a loaded chunk. And if it's a loaded chunk, that probably means that there's been some players in it recently. But if there's no signs of these, that probably means that no one has been here in a long time. Also note on the entity counter that there are now 6 entities in this chunk, and I'm looking at 5 of them because those 6 entities are these sheep right here. So don't get super duper excited thinking you found a base, but it turns out you've actually just found a herd of sheep, or you know, a herd of stupid cows or whatever. Anyway, we're going to keep running over here because I've actually set up an example base for us. So if we keep running, we're like, hold the phone. There's now 15 entities in this chunk. Now 15 is an awful lot, which suggests there's probably a base around here somewhere. Now most of the time people like to build their bases either at the top of the world or at the bottom of the world. So first of all, it's easier for us to go down, so we're just going to start digging straight down and hopefully we will come across a base. Now obviously you need to be careful of nameplates when you do this, because you'll get to a certain distance and if there happens to be a player at that base, then you will see their nameplate. So it's always good to do a little check for that before you just jump in guns blazing, because otherwise they might just kill you straight away. If you look at the entity counter, you can see that I'm looking directly at 10 out of 15 entities, but if I look up, I'm looking at 0 out of 15 entities. That means that all 15 entities are below us, so we're pretty much guaranteed at this point in finding a base. And here it is! Yay! Now I just put this base here for example purposes, but as you can see, these 15 entities are these item frames. So if I was to break this and then pick them up, there's now only 14 entities here. The only issue with this method is that it only really works if, you know, the chests do have things like item frames on, or it only works for like mob farms, because if it's just a vault where all of the chests are blank, then it's a lot harder to show up. And the next method I'm going to show you is for finding sky vaults. So what you want to do is you want to build up to the world height, which is 256. You can see in the chat there it says I can't build any higher than this. You can also see on the F3 menu that I am at level 256, and then you just want to build like this forever and ever, occasionally having a look around just to see if you can see any sky vaults. Now both this method and the running around looking for entities on the ground method could potentially take, you know, 10 minutes, or it could take an hour, or you might just never be able to find a base. So if you've been going for some time and you want to just have a break, you know, from the computer or whatever, or you know, your tea's ready, then it's wise to every now and then just set your home at, you know, a random location, and then you can continue your progress like a checkpoint kind of system. If you know you haven't had any luck and you just want to come back to this the next day, or you want to just have a break for like 10 minutes or whatever. And this is the kind of thing that you should probably do while you're listening to music, or you know, chatting to your friends in a call, because placing blocks over and over again is kind of boring. But if you just keep having a look around over and over again, and then your chances of finding a base will be quite high. So I've just used up this one stack of cobblestone. We'll have a little look around. Hey up lads, what the bloody hell is that? It's a bloody sky base. So once again, I just placed that there just just for example purposes, but this is basically what it would look like. And there it is, a better look at it, a cheeky little sky base. So there you go, you're not guaranteed to find any bases with these methods, but hopefully they will increase your chances. I want to say thank you all so much for watching this episode. If you found it useful, then leave a like, and obviously if you are new to the channel, subscribe. And if you do want a faction server to play on, then I would suggest play.evopvp.net. We've got OP factions, regular factions, and Viking factions. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck finding your bases, and I shall see you all next time. Bye bye.